MFA is modern.
Of course, the world is my runway.
Hello there, welcome to Cityscape on City TV. As you know, we're in the month of Heritage, the month in which Ghana was born, the month of March. And so we've been having a lot of heritage conversations. And it's also the month of women, and so we're celebrating Ghanaian women and their Ghanaianness. But today we're asking the question, what does patriotism mean to you? And we find ourselves at AHOOM, which is on the Gifford Road in Accra. I come from Accra, so heritage, yes. But Anafa and I are getting into this seemingly deep conversation. So again, what does patriotism mean to you? What does it mean to be patriotic? Cityscape on City TV. Join the conversation. What are your opinions? Join the conversation on social media with the hashtags Cityscape and MyScape, and via the handle at CityscapeGH as well on Instagram. Hi, Emifa.
Are you Akoamoy? Hi.
You know, I will never teach you anything again. Never.
It's become my new favorite
But did
thing.
any of you ever read the book Akukemoy when you're in school? Yeah. So she's referring to my hair. She's referring to my hair. But like us human beings were saying earlier, you know, this is the month of heritage. Wow. We're in the month of March.
The month of women.
And
women supporting women.
Definitely.
Do you know what my favorite quote is?
But MFA,
every day is Women's Day when women support women.
I support you.
MFA said that.
Tell me the truth.
MFA Chikata, guys.
Okay, moving on. But we're at a new location, AHOOM. AHOOM is, if you've ever heard of Nalim Clothing, AHOOM is a subsidiary of, you know, that Nalim group, and
it's like kind of like the homeware brand.
It's amazing. I will take you around the shop. The cameras will show you everything you need to see eventually. But what we're wearing as well is from Nalim, from AHOOM, and so my earrings too. You know, we're keeping it very Ghanaian.
Yeah,
this month.
Very Afropolitan, modern, but still very traditional.
Definitely, even though MFA is wearing black, like I usually do.
Because Apiorkor invented the color black. Anyway.
But anyway, yes. So we're. I mean, I said once we're coming into the month of March, there's no way we can talk about independence 62 years on and not talk about what it means to be patriotic. Because when you celebrate an Independence Day in any country, the question of who you are as a citizen, as a people, comes to bear. So I'm asking, what does it even mean to be patriotic? I feel like a lot of people just throw that word around.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah. But even us celebrating our independence, it's an act of patriotism. We're acknowledging when we gain freedom from our colonial rulers. But I do think it's a very interesting question to ask, because I feel a lot of people believe they're patriotic,
but they're not.
But in reality, they're not.
Yeah.
But
don't you think that's subjective though? Don't you think patriotism means different things to different people? And so we might sit here and judge, but then that's
I think there are definitely variations, definitely, but it's the core principles of patriotism is love for one's country, respect for the land, respect for I guess the culture, and a passion to see the country progress and succeed.
Okay. So you know, yeah, the teacher in me is coming out. So
okay.
I pulled up some dictionary definitions, and well, I used Oxford because that's MFA's favorite dictionary to use. So, dictionary definition: being patriotic or patriotism is having or expressing devotion to and vigorous support for one's country. And then the synonyms are what got me, you know, out of this world.
Okay.
But yeah, synonyms still in your Oxford: isolation, jingoism, xenophobia, chauvinism. Those are the first four that stick out.
Wow, I can totally see that on a spectrum of some sort.
Right.
With patriotism right in the middle. And xenophobia.
And maybe we should break it down. So isolation, of course, it means you and your country decide that you're not mingling with the rest of the world. Jingoism means, without even thinking, you're supporting everything that goes on in your country, everything that people in your country, the leaders of your country do.
Yeah.
Wrong, unethical, right, good, whatever it is. Xenophobia. I mean,
that is putting your patriotism in the context of other people, where you believe that your citizens or your culture is superior to everyone else's.
Yes.
Okay.
And so we could also put racism in that same bracket, right?
And chauvinism.
And chauvinism as well. And chauvinism even brings in the gender dynamic.
Yeah.
Placing one gender higher on the ladder of being a human being, really, than the other. So very extreme things popping out.
Yeah.
You know. And
but then in all of these definitions, as twisted as it might sound, there is a love for your country and your culture in it. There is an undertone of love for it might be maybe perhaps too much love, or love to the point where you feel the need to harm others or throw others under the bus, but there is still an undertone of love in those definitions.
And I thought it was important to put into context, because I look at isolation, for example, you know, and it's my favorite one of the synonyms.
Okay.
Why? Because there's a point in history where some of the greatest countries in the world today isolated themselves from the rest of the world.
Remember, we had this conversation a while ago.
The US did
I studied international development, and I'm very, very interested in
political science and history as well.
Yeah.
You know, so the United States, before World War I, World War I began in 1914. They'd isolated themselves from the rest of the world. They say, you know what, Europe, Britain, France, whoever, do what you're doing. We don't care. So when the World War began in 1914, they weren't concerned. They only joined in 1917, 3 years later. Why? Because one of their passenger ships had been sunk by German U-boats during the war. They're like, okay, now you're now
we have
pushing
an interest.
Yeah, so they joined the war on the western side, so France and Britain side, and then the war ended in 1919, right? They did the same thing in 1938 when the Second World War started. They had isolated themselves, like, you know what, we're dealing with our own economic issues. You people are backwards, do what you want to do. We have an economy that's booming. Then they decided that it got to a point they couldn't stay out of it anymore because it was affecting them too much. And so they entered, like, again, about 3 years.
There was more of an economic interest in the Second World War, I believe, which is why they felt the need to get involved. But even the British Empire did that as well, and research shows that the economy grew more than tenfold within that period. So it's very interesting that now, in this modern age, protectionism, isolationism is seen as a hindrance to our development.
And of course, more recently, China did it. They decided that democracy wasn't for them. They were going to do everything else.
No more recently, but China's really been going at it.
But when I say more recently, I'm talking, let's say, in the last 20 years.
Okay.
You know, if you're looking at the late 90s, China was nowhere where they are now. They had isolated themselves. I mean, whoever was making noise, they weren't a part of the UN because they were supposedly inhumane. And then if you even come to Africa, Rwanda, on some level, has isolated themselves. And they isolated, and then now they've
and I mean, North Korea has isolated themselves to a very large extent. I really don't like using that word in negative context. You know why? But it's just very interesting how we respect a certain type of patriotism, like that displayed by the US, the UK. I mean, can't mess with the US and their flags, for example. But then when it comes to countries like North Korea,
we're looking at them differently.
Yes. I guess the press and the media has a huge part to play in their narrative, but at the same time, I think we all need to take a step back and to be able to be subjective to whatever is going on.
So now, I mean, viewers, okay, so we've done this whole history lesson. Why are we doing this? Because the next question I want to ask is, why is patriotism important? Okay, we're sitting here talking about patriotism. 6 March, people go and march, we eat banku and fufu.
Beach,
that's fine. We live in Ghana, nowhere cool, what's up? But I'm asking this question because I feel as though a lot of the time as Ghanaians, we don't understand how our patriotism or lack of it can either make or break us as a nation. So In your opinion, why do you think patriotism is important, if at all? If you don't think so, too.
Do you know what? I think patriotism is important. I think love for one's home, love for one's country, one's culture goes a long way. Even looking at our history, we need to be able to know where we came from. We need to be proud of that to know exactly where we're going. So I had a very interesting conversation with our very own Bernard Abba the other day, and he was talking about frustrations that people like me, like returnees, might have, like coming to Ghana and not having, you know, a stable system of public transport, so on and so forth. You know what the issues might be. And he said something to me that really stuck to me. And he said, no foreigner is going to come to Ghana and build a Ghana we want. We have to do that ourselves.
Absolutely.
And it came at a time when I was really questioning how truly patriotic I was. Because I mean, you come back home, you try to invest as much time and effort as you possibly can into development, no matter how large or how small your contribution is, and it doesn't seem to go very far.
It's like the system is working against you.
System is working against you.
As Santi would say, it's like Ghana will kill you.
Exactly. So I do think it's important, but I also think conditions need to be favorable to flourish patriotism, if that makes any sense.
I agree with you. I have problems with people being forced to do things. I think once you have to force people to do things, it borders on oppression and suppression.
Definitely.
So you shouldn't have to force people to be patriotic. I have issues, again, let's go back to history, people being forced to go to war for their country. Otherwise, you're seen as unpatriotic. I have issues with people being forced to dress a certain way just because they come from a certain place, you know. But all the same, like you're saying, if you don't put certain measures in place to make people feel comfortable in their home country, people are not going to be patriotic. It's a problem because, especially for the youth, they grew up being very selfish, and we're seeing it happening in Ghana. It's just that we haven't realized how bad it is yet.
Yeah.
We breed a youth who are very selfish, who feel very entitled, that everything that the state and everything around them should give should be for them, not for us as Ghanaians, not for the nation, but for me as an individual. Okay, so it's the reason why you'd have an increase in, say, crime. It's the reason why you know, somebody will go and work and they're not really thinking about giving back to the business. They're thinking about what they can take from the business.
But don't you think that's because people are oppressed?
But that's what I'm getting to. If as leaders, you know, so let me talk to you, let me call you out. It's a month of heritage. Yes, I'm in the mood. If as leaders, you know, let me even just say people who run the country, you do not make an effort to make your citizens comfortable, you're going to breed very selfish people. And when you breed selfish people, everything that you do, it could be bad, it could be good, it could be positive, it could be negative. Everything that you do works against you because the people who you need to help you drive the agenda are just not interested. But let's take a break. We'll come back. The fire isn't dead. Cityscape on City TV. We're talking about patriotism. It's the month of March. What does patriotism mean to you? Why is it important? And, you know, I want to hear your thoughts on that. MFM wants to hear them too.
I do.
Go.
Spend 30 minutes every weekday catching up with all the trending social media conversations of the day. If you tweet it, we'll read it. We might just even Skype you. 30 minutes is all it takes, so use the hashtag 30minutes on social media to catch our attention. Join the most interactive social media TV show weekdays at 5 p.m. only on City TV.
Go.
Welcome back. This is Cityscape on City TV. Of course, my name is Apiorkor, the one and only. I'm here with it.
Wow. She means AHOOM is here with Queen Emma. Hello there. Lovely to see you.
Okay, moving on. We're talking about patriotism, and Emma, we said so many things. We've given history lessons. But before we went on the break, I was saying that I was talking to the leaders, the government. Yes, the fire didn't die. It's still here. What I'm saying is that if you do not create an atmosphere where people can get good jobs, people feel comfortable and safe in their home, they have good transportation systems, people don't feel as though the system is working against them, they're not in a hurry to run to the next country once some ship comes, or if they have a chance to get to the sea or store away on some plane. They want to be here because they believe that there's a future for them and they can be a part of building what it takes to get to that future. If your people don't feel like that, then you failed as a leader.
Once basic needs are met, it creates an environment where people feel like they can aim higher. I don't see why people should be struggling to find where their next meal is coming from, where to find clean drinking water, shelter. I mean, we're human beings, we all have basic human rights. I don't understand why those things are not in place so that people have more important things to worry about, like how to cater to our needs, how to set up new businesses, how to come up with products and services that we don't even know we need yet. Exactly. So I totally understand where you're coming from. I think definitely coming from a country that isn't as developed as I would like definitely has an effect on how patriotic I can be. And I'll be very honest about that. Once all those things are put in place, then we'll have more people loving Ghana the way that they should.
And I dare say that again, our leaders don't love Ghana. Because, no, it's true. And they haven't built the systems for themselves to love Ghana. Because if you feel like you need to get into power and do things that are untoward, then it means that you yourself, you see, I keep saying that our leaders are just a reflection of us.
But isn't that just like human nature though? You've read George Orwell's Animal Farm, haven't you?
MFA, our leaders don't come, I keep saying that, they don't come from space. They go to our churches, they worship in our mosques, right? They come from our villages, they went to our schools, they live in our same communities. They didn't come from space.
I get
so when
that.
they get there and they behave a certain way,
but isn't that human nature though?
But that's the thing, it's a reflection of us. So it means that we are, as a people, we should start questioning our patriotism. And whether we've built systems that even breed patriotism and genuine love for the country.
Now we're on the same page.
But you get where I'm coming from. It is human nature.
That's why I made the George Orwell reference. Because if you've read Animal Farm, you understand what I'm saying. That, these animals were criticizing the farmers, and as soon as they took control, they started doing exactly the same thing.
We come from the same place.
So, I think it's human nature. But once we put once somebody or a group of people manages to put all those safeguards in place, then we will be able to be patriotic, and people won't feel the need to take care of their families first before they
things. But that brings me to the next one. Are we patriotic as Ghanaians? Are we? Let's answer this honestly.
Okay, honestly, please don't come for me on social. Honestly, I don't think Ghanaians are patriotic. I don't. And I don't blame you. But I just don't think Ghanaians are patriotic. I feel like my statement is pretty self-explanatory, but I'll just give you one example. If we love our country, we love our people, we want to take care of our neighbors, we wouldn't litter the way we do.
It's true.
We wouldn't clog up our drains the way we do. We wouldn't destroy the environment the way we do.
That's true. But my next question is, you've spoken about so many things, and of course, these things have come up because Ghana is a developing country. It doesn't mean that developed countries don't have their issues. We've seen abject poverty
even in America, they don't have clean drinking water.
Places. You go to Germany and you go to a restaurant and they ask you with gas or without gas, because it's either carbonated water or not.
Oh, is that how they call it?
Yes, they don't have water. They have serious water issues. So it's actually cheaper to buy carbonated water, soda water, than it is to buy still water.
Oh,
yes,
okay.
It is. I know. So people have their own issues, but they make it work for them.
Yeah.
My question is, in a developing country, is it even possible to be patriotic?
Is it possible to be patriotic?
Look at it, look, rent. You work so hard.
Do you know what?
You can't even buy a house.
Do you know what? I'll be idealistic and say yes. Why? Because if Singapore could do it, if other countries who were Malaysia,
look at a country like Rwanda,
Rwanda, exactly. If those countries can do it, then so can we. So we need to explore what the missing link is. Why Ghanaians, with everything we have and with all the dynamic young and old people we have here, why have we not been able
I have
to
a theory.
progress? Okay, let's
My
hear it.
theory is that, so I think that there's still lots of ethnic breaks, and we see it in the way we even relate to each other. We see it in politics.
That is so
we see it in our
true.
schools. When I was growing up, people would laugh at me because they'll say, "Oh, that is a bush language." Then the other side of me, people will say, "We are Bini." I mean, all sorts of things, and it's still very prominent. And we don't like to admit it, but it's there.
Yeah.
You know, I have friends who grew up in typical Ashanti and royal homes, and they said, "Look, we were trained and told that you don't eat from the same bowl as a Northman." But these are things that we don't like to talk about. And Accra is not Ghana. Ghana is not Accra. And I keep saying this, when you travel, you just came out from the Heritage Caravan a few weeks ago. When you travel, you see some of these realities. And there are things that we don't like to talk about.
That's true. I must admit, going up north when I took my own personal road trip was such a huge culture shock. It was like going to a different country. Definitely. And I honestly, well done, babe. I didn't know you had it in you.
Yeah.
That is such a great, convincing theory.
But it's true.
Yes,
Wouldn't you?
because I feel like in a country like Singapore, for example, the lack of resources and their underdevelopment brought them together, and they felt the need to come together to build their country for themselves.
Let's take a break. We'll come back at Cityscape on City TV. We're talking about patriotism. It's the month of March. I want to hear your thoughts on that. MFM wants to hear them too.
I do.
For regular news checks as they unfold, 2020 news all day, all the time. Politics, sports, entertainment, business, and more. 2020 news. We bring you the world in 20 minutes.
What are your opinions? Join the conversation on social media with the hashtags Cityscape and MyScape, and via the handle at CityscapeGH as well on Instagram. Now let's find out what's new in the city.
Hello there, and welcome to the What's New segment of Cityscape right here on City TV. So today I've brought you to one of my favorite spaces ever in Accra. It's called AHOOM. So I'm here with this very special guest. He's going to talk to us a bit about the store, where it's located, and what you can find when you get yourselves down here. So hello.
Hi, welcome.
Thank you so much. So this is Eric from AHOOM.
Yeah,
okay,
sure.
He's actually the store manager here. What does AHOOM actually mean?
AHOOM means African Heritage Outlets and Online Mall.
Wow, so it's not just Ghanaian fashion and artifacts.
No, not at all. We're looking at Africa as a whole, where we want to sell everything African here.
What I'm wearing is from AHOOM, including my lovely South African inspired beret and my little calabash handbag over here as well, which I'm sure Eric will talk us through.
Yeah, sure.
So I know my dress is from AHOOM, but it's not made by Nalem,
Sure.
is it?
This is from Cameroon. Yeah,
Okay.
sure. Apart from that, we have Nalem clothing. This is a butterfly.
Okay, okay.
With I saw you wearing one of them.
Yes, I
And
saw
it's
that
one of the
earlier.
best designs Nalem has. And
Definitely.
a lot of people are liking it. When you come to the joints, we have the jumpers, we call them.
Okay.
This is SV jumper. When you fold the fabric,
These are all very good quality. Good
Correct.
quality, guys.
this is a sweet voile fabric.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it
Okay.
also comes with the pants. And we have the normal shirts. Normal shirts that are made out of Italian linen.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
I actually love these.
We have types of linen that when you just wash it, it gets shrinked.
Oh,
Of course, yes.
okay.
But we are very particular with the choosing of our fabrics. We are very careful, and so far I have not heard anybody complain about
That's
fabric.
great. No, I've not had anyone either. But like I was saying earlier, I absolutely love this little calabash.
Sure.
Clutch I have earlier. I remember coming to your store and I was so fascinated. I thought it was a water bottle, but it's actually a little handbag.
Sure.
So it's made from calabash.
Sure. Sure.
And it has like a really cool design. This
Yeah.
is great for festivals, if you're going out with your friends to dinner.
Correct.
But what are your prices like here?
So when it comes to Nalem, a lot of people have it in mind that Nalem is expensive, but I can tell you can have a garment as low as 40 cedis at Nalem. This bag you're holding like this 70
cedis. And it will last you a lifetime.
I'm telling you, we have this nice made in Ghana fugu.
Oh, okay.
This is a nodness fugu, and this is coming from all the way from Tamale.
Okay,
Yeah.
so this says AHOOM on it. So
Yeah.
all the way from Tamale.
Yeah,
So
of course. So I can't do without the ladies, you know. So it's nice bag.
yes.
It's nice bag.
Oh, thank you so much,
You're welcome.
Eric.
You're
Thank you
welcome.
so
You're
much
welcome.
for
You're welcome.
showing me just the garment section of AHOOM. We're on the Guildford Road.
Sure.
Also known as the Trade Fair Road for those of you who don't really know Ghanaian geography, near Palm Wine Junction. And they're on all social media platforms. So what should people look out for?
We have the Instagram, we have the Facebook, we have the Twitter, we have all of them.
Oh.
All the social media.
All of
Yeah,
them, hey.
Just type AHOOM Global.
AHOOM Global, you
Maybe
guys.
there.
So make sure that you pass through. So this is the What's New segment of Cityscape. We're right here on City TV. The show continues.
Let's wrap this conversation up. So, how can we become patriotic?
How can we become patriotic?
Or how can we at least get people to see that patriotism is something that's possible and necessary?
Do you know what? I'm going to sound very kumbaya right now. You know I'm a tree hugger deep down
Yes,
inside.
we know.
So I think finding a way to contribute to your community to make someone's burden a little easier so that they have time and resources to focus on other things that might be of more importance. I think that's a big step
Definitely.
in being more patriotic and having love for one's country and its citizens.
I'm going to talk a little bit about tourism because, you know, when you go to Rwanda, you go to the Genocide Memorial, for example. From the time you enter to the time you leave, everything is set up to make you feel like, you know what, I'm from Ghana, but I love Rwanda. And it's the most amazing thing. And you talk to the people and they don't tell you I'm this tribe or I'm that tribe. It could also be because of what they've experienced, but they say, no, I'm Rwandese or I'm Rwandan, depending on whether they are more French speaking or English speaking.
Okay.
The patriotism is real, you know.
beautiful.
And I feel like if we build our tourism space to that level, and then we combine it with our educational system. So you're going on excursions. It's not just to go and walk on the Kakum canopies and drink coconut water at the end of it, but actually telling and creating stories around our tourist attractions that build our love for our heritage.
And that's our culture. Isn't
We
it?
love
Storytelling
stories.
is a part
We
of our
love
culture.
stories.
So
We love drama.
We really could harness
You know,
drama.
I feel like that's a great way
Yeah.
to begin. And again, I'll reiterate on education. We need to be telling our own stories, writers like me, writing our own books, writing our own stories, putting them in the classroom so that our kids are raised with all this knowledge. A lot of us don't even know our history.
It's
It's not going to come from history textbooks. I keep saying that our history, be it political, economic, whatever, is in our literature. If you read the literature, it's there. If you go and look for a history textbook, you won't find it.
And I also think if you have something to offer as a young person, I think making yourself available to other young people goes a long way as well.
Absolutely.
That's why I absolutely love
Mentorship,
these are little conversations, because I feel like they really help to
Definitely.
spotlight issues that other people like us.
And lastly,
might.
buy made in Ghana stuff. We're at AHOOM. Look, behind us, you've got all these brilliant artifacts. There's jewelry. I mean, I'm sure you can see them on the screen. There are bags, there are clothes.
There
We're
are
wearing
made
some
in
of
Ghana
them.
shoes,
Made in
100%
Ghana
leather.
furniture. Buy some of these things. Of course, it's going to be a little more expensive.
I don't think it's more expensive, babe. Made in Ghana or
I
black
mean,
owned
no.
does not mean free or cheap.
No, so thank you.
So you pay
Thank
its
you.
value for money.
Thank you.
I will show you this amazing coconut teacup.
That she's
I'm
discovered.
so excited.
Yeah, we need to have it. Look, I'm sure that the shot of MFI just looking at it longingly.
Oh my goodness.
But thank you. My name is Apiorkor once again, and this is...
And I am Emma.
And we've been at AHOOM today. It's an amazing, amazing, amazing space on the Guildford Road. They've got a branch at West Hills Mall
Yes.
as well. Again, I say if you know Nalem clothing, then you know where the quality that we're talking about.
I am moving in
yes,
here.
and
honestly.
we came here today because we've been talking about heritage. We've been talking about patriotism. We can't go to all the nice cafes that are owned by people who are not Ghanaians and not come back home to something that's Ghanaian owned and have a conversation. So thank you very much. Until next time. Mwah.